Hey guys, how are you?
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Rated M Show
Welcome.
in a new space. I mean, we're kind of in the same space, but
You guys are
you guys are in a new space as we are live via YouTube instead of Facebook. So, this is going to be our new home from now on. We'll do all
yes.
of our promotions and commercials and stuff on Facebook and IG, but all of the lives, all the action is happening here on YouTube. So, subscribe to our channel and click the notification so you can see when we do new videos every week.
Yes.
Um,
I
just
mean,
so you can stay up to date. And then, if you're watching and you want to join in the conversation while we're live, you can still jump into the conversation how you did on Facebook. Everything is the same. We're just on another platform. So, welcome, guys. It is
hello.
February. It is Black History Month, and just saying, always.
No,
So
it's free.
you said what?
No, go ahead.
It's Black History Month, and so happy Black History Month. Valentine's Day is also coming up. Um, please take a second to check out our store, theratedm.com.
Yeah.
We have our signature tees, signature hoodies, and then our After Dark section, which hopefully will kind of just give some inspiration and spice to, your love life, because that's what we're here for. We're here to
Yes.
provide solutions and kind of keep this marriage thing going for
Um,
God's glory. So
I don't think
check out our website. Dre has put it right here, put it on the screen so you won't miss it. So we can dive into our topic tonight, which I'm kind of looking forward to, but kind of interested to see. If you guys catch this either live or later, please leave a comment. And
yes.
we often like to revisit topics if there's some conversation about it. So, tonight's topic, which I think Dre has a little more experience with than me, but you know,
'Cause
um, tonight's topic is, what do you do when you don't get along with your in laws or your in laws don't like you?
yes.
Boom, boom, boom.
So I know this is hard to believe, but I didn't have in-laws that didn't like me. I had a relationship I was in for a long time, um, and the dad didn't like me naturally. Uh, and my in-laws now are great, especially I want to send a shout out
Moving along,
to your mama.
moving along. She
Mm,
don't.
mm, mm.
She actually don't even like you that much. Moving along.
She does. She loves me, right? She loves me. Anywho,
Just a little bit.
it sucks. I guess for lack of a better term, it is terrible. It is uneasy. There's always that dynamic when there's like a family get together or something. Um, it's weird. So
Right. So let's say so the first part of it is, if you're the spouse that your in-laws don't like, your mama, daddy in law, cousins in law, siblings in law, none of them really like you.
nope.
So what do you do? Is it something that you kind of just ignore? Do you talk to your spouse about it and say, if they don't mess with me, I don't mess with them? Like, how do you approach this? Because over time it can start to cause some friction, because I would want my siblings and my family who I love to spend time and enjoy with my spouse, and vice versa. Like, I want us to be a happy family, like you said, during holidays and family get-togethers. I don't want it to be tension.
Is it true?
So I'm kind of thinking of, well, how do we solve it, and what's the issue? So I think the first thing is, if your in-laws don't like you, I think the spouse that the family is attached to
Mm-hmm.
has to have a conversation with their family about, why don't you like my husband or wife? Break it down, give it to me pretty openly. You got to ask, well, what's going on? What are your guys' true feelings? And I think most of the time, families are very protective. They want to see you, with someone who is, that does this and does this and does that. And maybe your spouse doesn't. Maybe your spouse isn't their idea. And that's where you have to let them know, like, I'm married to someone who is good for me, not necessarily a choice that you guys would have made. But sometimes those concerns can be real. Like, oh, we see dysfunction. We don't like him because y'all are dysfunctional together.
Thanks.
Right? Like, sometimes their concerns are really valid. Like, oh, he or she isn't stable. He or she doesn't, commit or do what they say they're going to do. They see these character flaws. And I think that if our families feel really strongly a certain kind of way, we do have to kind of take a step back and say, okay, let me think about their concerns and are they valid? And then if they're not,
That ain't finna happen, bro.
what?
That's not finna happen. Y'all
Okay,
married?
tell me. Tell
No,
me.
I'm saying you married already. You knew that man wasn't no good when you met him.
I will say maybe not, but if this person's in denial. But I'm saying if your family has an issue with someone, you take a look. I would say take a look and say, okay, are their concerns valid? And are there things I need to address? I'm not talking about leave.
Okay.
I'm just saying. Or, you address the concerns like, okay, maybe he doesn't make X amount of money, or he doesn't do this, or he's not in this profession. But, the person of who he is what I need, or the person of who she is what I need. And so you kind of have to put, line things up or put it into place, however you want to say it, that, this is your spouse and this is who you've committed your life to.
Definitely. I think most of the time families are right. They kind of know if somebody's well. I'll say one. I think it depends on the reason why they don't like whoever your spouse or whoever it is.
Okay.
I was no good at that time. I probably shouldn't have been with the girl. Father knew the best, to be honest. But no, I think you have to be honest with yourself, but most people aren't. So I think, I mean, family usually knows best, but again, I think it just depends on the reason why. Like I have two daughters who are two. I'm not gonna like nobody in the kindergarten class. I'm not gonna like no dudes in the first grade, all the way until they graduate. Just on GP, there's nobody that I'm gonna like. No, you can't borrow a crayon. None of that.
Not a crayon.
No,
It's really just a crayon.
no, you got parents, bro. So I think that may be like more of a shallow reason, but I think if it's a serious reason, then I think I would say a lot of the time it's valid. It's for a valid reason. But you say your take. I'm gonna invite a couple people up.
So I guess like the next layer of that is, what do you do when it starts to impact your marriage? You know what I mean? Like, what, when you have family get togethers, maybe comments are made, shade is thrown, whatever it may be. What
Yes.
do you do when it starts to impact the dynamic between the husband and wife? Like, how do you handle that? Is it, I mean, honestly, we're married now, so is it like, well, my family is your family and you need to learn how to get along? Like, who has to do the bending? You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I think oh, luck life.
Zena says I disagree about the validity part. Okay.
I think it all depends on again, I think it depends on personality. Like I'm fine being like the loving person and I'm cooking dinner for everybody. And I'm also fine like being by myself. Like I don't necessarily I mean obviously if the person likes you it makes it easier for you.
Mm.
Um but I think a relationship can function primarily like I married you, I didn't marry. So I'll say the statement. Tell me if you agree. I married you, but I didn't marry your family. Sure enough.
I feel so 50-50 about that because the truth is you didn't marry me, right?
Because
Let's take it.
they made my kids.
Shut up. The truth is, you did marry me. If we make this about us, you did marry me, but you know, like I come with my family. You know,
Right.
I'm not like some orphan with no family. So I do feel like it's true. You know, when you marry into the family, you're also married to the family. And I think in that sense, like just in the efforts that you would make for your blood to make it work, I think it's expected that you would make about the same efforts for my blood to make it work.
Yeah, but I think by the time we get to, I don't. Again, it all depends on the reason. I think most people don't stop liking somebody when they get married. They probably don't like them through the whole
I got you.
relationship, but you was kind of in love or whatever. But I think it's on the person whose family doesn't like the other person. I think it's on them to kind of try to make that right. Like have an honest conversation away from the partner. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
why don't you like this person? What is it that you don't like?
Mm-hmm.
That if it's like I don't like the way he treats you type of thing.
Right.
I've never had that, so I don't know what the best kind of advice would be, or his breath thing, or she walk funny, or things that are easy to get over. I think are kind of easy to get over, and I don't think there's an obligation there because that's a you problem at that point. And then I think it's up to you. You have to kind of, I don't want to say check that person to be, oh Lord have mercy.
Check. What do you mean? Oh boy.
Here we go.
Okay.
Right.
So when you hold on, Dre, finish what you were saying when you said check that person.
I think you have to. So let's say it's your mom, and she doesn't like his spouse because uh, I don't like the way that she walk, or I don't like the way that she fixes her hair, how she raises it, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then I think it's up to you to have a conversation like the whole you need to get over that speech. That's not going to change, blah, blah, blah. But if it's I don't like the way this person treats you, I feel like, I disagree with how you parent or how because you weren't raised like that, blah, blah,
Mm.
blah. Then I think that may, then you get the other spouse involved, and then maybe the three y'all need to sit down and hash it out or whatever, just depending on kind of how deep it is.
I agree. I agree that you probably need to sit down and hash it out. But Zena, welcome to the Rated M Show in our new space on YouTube.
I
Thank you for watching.
see. Thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Welcome to our new space. Can you elaborate? Because your comment was, I disagree about the validity part.
So let me say first of all, I do believe that
Here we go. Here we go.
Go ahead. I'm here.
I agree with Dre when he says that the dislike comes way before the marriage part.
Yes.
I agree.
Yeah.
I do agree with that. I also agree with we have to be very mindful of what place that particular person's feelings is coming from.
Okay.
Is it coming from a place of real concern? Is it coming from a place of jealousy? Is it coming from, just a place of pure nastiness? What is it? Where is it coming from? Do I believe that it's always valid? I think validity is kind of in the eye of the beholder when it comes to that, because you only get a glimpse of a look into somebody's relationship. That family is only getting one side of what happens. Okay. So sometimes the family feels a certain type of way, but you don't necessarily know really this is what took place and this is how they got to that point. Okay. So I think we have to, as family, we have to be very careful when we have an opinion on somebody else's relationship or, whatever the case might be. Now, if you genuinely feel like this person, just does not have good intentions, then, and you express that, okay. But if your family member decides to continue on with that person, then at some point you have to sit back and know your place, especially if they move forward with that person and make that person their wife or their husband, because at the end of the day, you don't have any say so.
Know your place.
Know your place. And so I also believe that it is the place of the spouse, like you said, Siobhan, that's connected to the family, that if a family member steps out of line, it is for that person to come and say, hey, know your place.
So I can't say
Let
nothing.
me ask a question.
Okay.
And this is for the both of you, right? Both of y'all.
Okay.
Now the phrase "know your place."
People don't like that, but
I feel like it's strong. It it comes off kind of rough. What if that person that's expressing that I don't like him or her, the person that's doing whatever, is a parent? Because that know your place as your mom and your dad
my mama know her place. We're gonna be fighting.
It's different
in divorce court.
But I still feel like to a certain extent it's a know your place. And Dre's not gonna agree with this, and there's a lot of people that aren't gonna agree with this.
Okay, give us your unpopular opinion.
My unpopular opinion is, if my mother, and I'm gonna speak personally, I'm not gonna speak for nobody else. Okay. If my mother did something that I felt was disrespectful towards my husband,
okay,
then I would address that with my mother.
Okay.
I would say to her, hey, mom, you know what I'm saying? This, and this should not have been said, or there's a way in which you say and do things in order to be respectful. The same way I expect him to respect you, I expect you to respect him. That is the way I feel. I'm not going to be disrespectful to my mom or dog her out. Yeah, like I'm not going to necessarily say it like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I may say it to somebody else, but I will have an honest conversation with her.
Okay, that's fair. Okay.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because sometimes as parents, it's hard for them to see past us being their baby because we're their child, and we'll always be there. There's nothing that will ever change that. But at the end of the day, when you grow up and you become a husband, when you become a wife, you have other roles that you need to fulfill as well.
You got hand claps out here.
Thank you.
You out here changing lives.
I mean, I think there's a respectful way to do it. Yeah. I mean, and then if you go respectfully to your mother, you know what I'm saying, be out of her love for you, if she sees that something hurts you or bothers you, then technically your mom should be like, okay, babe, well, I'm gonna step back. You know what I'm saying? I understand how you could feel that way, and go from there.
Okay.
Ain't gonna be no disrespect to my mama under no circumstances. My mama gonna be disrespected.
No, my question is, let's say it's your mom, your dad, who may be making snide comments, who might be, maybe doing certain things that come off and read off like, I really don't like this person. You know what I mean? But this is your spouse, this is your wife. So my question is it appropriate to have the know your place, and not saying that, but to have that conversation with your parents, like, hey, like Zena said, like, hey, this and this happened, please don't do XYZ.
Yeah, if it's no, yeah, I think if it's hard for me to say. If I don't agree with her about whatever her thing is, then I think I should.
If you don't agree with who? Your mom or your spouse?
If I don't agree with my spouse. So like if you, I don't know, did something and my mama said it, I think it would depend on like whether I agree with her or not. And then it depends on your spouse. Like if you got a spouse that feels easily disrespected, like at a drop of a hat, I don't know. Like I just don't. If everything is disrespect, I don't know if I'm gonna talk to my mom. But like, you can't say anything when you come over the house. Just talk to me. Like, we're not having that type of relationship. Mm-hmm. But I think if it's a blatantly disrespectful thing, then yeah, I probably would pull it aside. But like, or mom or dad or whoever, you can't say that. Like, you just can't. We gotta find a better way to clean it up. But if it's like something that's barely disrespectful, and my spouse is someone who I know is easily disrespected, like every time we go out, you disrespect it, then I think that's a different circumstance.
But that easily disrespected person is the person that you chose to be with. And so the person that you're supposed to be protecting. And so if you felt like protecting their feelings was going to be too much because they're always feeling disrespected, then I feel like you shouldn't have took on that responsibility to be their spouse.
I just say I was gonna divorce him.
No, what I'm saying though is that even if you don't agree, even if you say to me that seems really stupid, like I don't understand why, you know what I'm saying, she would be upset about that. Still, I feel like out of respect for your mate, just because I don't feel that way, I would say, hey mom, you know what I'm saying? Like, this is the way, you know what I'm saying, that he felt, you know what I'm saying? This is the way that he took it. I know you may not have meant it that way, but you know, in order to try and cut down on any kind of confusion, let's try to be, you know, a little more mindful so that there are no hard feelings and we don't have no issues that start to arise. That's what I would do. Even if I didn't understand, even if I was like, that's just pure D stupid, like he ain't had no reason. I feel like I got to respect him, because if I don't, and my mom continues to do it because she has no idea that it was ever an issue, then he starts to harbor these feelings about my mom. And then in turn feels like I'm not protecting him because he's never going to check my mom out of respect for me.
No, I feel you. I get this is how my conversation goes. Mom, dad, whoever. I feel you. I understand. I agree with what you said. But we gotta find a better way to like express it, whether it's like not express it, you can text me, whatever. But you know such and such is really sensitive in this certain area. So just don't comment in this certain area, blah blah blah, in the conversation. And then I would go to my spouse.
I feel like that's you know, depending on what it is, I feel like that's a
okay. Give me an
easy
example.
thing to say.
I'm
saying I feel like that's a appropriate.
Yeah, I think that would be more so my comment than, you know, she feel disrespected when you say, but it's like she always feel disrespected. Like you can't be in mute, but it's like just find a better way to like express yourself,
right?
Whatever.
Yeah,
and
but
I finish. Oh, sorry, Dre. Finish what you were saying. You said you would go to your spouse and say the one who's easily.
Oh! I would go to my spouse and say, hey, I know you feel bad. I talk to whoever the parent is and ask them not to say blah 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 blah. But I need you to chill. I need you to be less sensitive in certain areas than to just get offended by everything. Maybe that's something that you can work on your end, and then I already talked to him or her, and they're gonna work on the end, and then we're gonna try to like, you know, it may not happen the first time we all together. It may be another slippage or whatever, but just try to be patient with this person, because I did talk to them, and we'll have several conversations with them about, you know, your feelings and how you feel.
Right.
Especially if it's in your house. I think that also depends. Location, because you're not gonna disrespect me in my own house. You don't have to scoot. It's okay.
Point blank, period, bro.
I mean, that's interesting. I never thought about that, like location. Like, if we go to your parents' house, Dre, and somebody say something, maybe that's one thing. But if your parents come here and somebody say something, that makes it different.
Absolutely, yeah. Like if you go to my parents' house and my mom will say something, you like, shut up, B. Like, that's different than.
Well, I would hope that you would not respond like that, even if y'all was at your house.
No, not that you would. But I'm just saying, if it was a conversation like that, or maybe that's a little. Maybe that's
need a pause.
That word, that's fighting word.
Yeah, no fight words. You're right. I'm sorry. Maybe you just said
any location, like that's considered, yeah.
Or y'all got into a little attitude, a little spout. I think it's different. I think it's different.
Bro, that's mama.
Yeah, I feel like nobody should be disrespected in the place where they pay rent. I think that takes it to a heightened level, as opposed to, because I feel like if it's at the other person's house, y'all can just decide as a family until there's an apology and some kind of whatever. We just won't, I'll come over by myself. I'll bring the kids by myself, but we won't come over as a family thing until y'all can resolve whatever. And it starts off with you respectfully, maybe apologizing for it, blah, 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 blah. And if you feel some type of way, then y'all can get on the phone, or I can mediate or whatever.
But I speak from experiences. I rather the quiet disrespect.
Tell him to come a little closer.
disrespect.
Larry, you gotta come a
No.
little closer. Well, they're not gonna be able to hear you.
You,
I
said,
can hear you just fine, bro.
you said that.
What?
I'd rather the quiet disrespect
He rathers the
versus
quiet
the verbal
disrespect
disrespect.
versus the verbal disrespect. What's the
'Cause I
difference?
can approach somebody off of quiet disrespect.
You can approach
You call
somebody.
my wife out of her name, or you call my sister, or my mama, or somebody else out of their name. Like that causes an issue. Y'all do that quiet disrespect towards each other.
But
Cool.
I feel like you,
I'll be that pawn in the middle. But if and when I get tired of it and I stand up and I say, y'all both got to deal with this or else I'm out because y'all causing too much strain on me, you got to pay attention to it.
but I feel like at the
Hold
same
on.
time
Hold on. That ain't good enough for them, y'all.
no, I feel like it gets to the point that because you didn't squash it in the beginning, like I was saying, things begin to escalate and people begin to harbor
Everybody don't
feelings
pay
and
attention
admission.
to it like that at first.
And some people don't. I know in our experience there were certain things that were taking place. It was not with the mother. Me and my mother-in-law are good to go. We have a great relationship. That's
Throwing
not
it out
what it
there.
was. Let me just
Mine
throw
too.
that out there.
Mine too. I just want to put that out.
No one cares about your relationship with your mother-in-law. Okay, she really don't even like you.
Okay,
She
You
really
know,
don't.
she loves me. I love her. You know what I'm saying? So it was not her. But when we had an issue, you know, when it came to in-laws, part of the issue was that there were some things because my husband is male that he didn't pick up on that I did.
that y'all made up, that women make up. Okay, go ahead.
Ooh, that's
No, it wasn't made up. It was far, far, far from made up. And then once I was able to explain and lay out to him the X, Y, and Z is how I got to this point, he was like, I didn't know that happened. And I didn't know that happened. And I'm like, yeah, like that's why I feel the way that I feel.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And I think
Like
sometimes
I said, man, when you open your eyes and you pay attention to it and you stop just being closed-eyed to one part, life changes.
yeah,
That
life
shit'll
changes.
slap you in the face.
Slap you in the face. But I think I think it's a matter of just having a conversation. I think beef with moms is a lot different than beef
That's
with
intolerable.
like siblings and things like that. You know what I'm saying? I think beef with moms kind of take it to a whole nother level.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't no coming back from that. If I got two on you and my mama, pack your bags.
Yeah, that puts people in a very, very bad situation. And that's why I would never want to be in that situation. Because you never want to make anybody like that should never be it at all. Like even with another family member, I don't want you to choose,
right?
But I refuse to be disrespected.
Absolutely.
Agree.
No.
I just want to shout out to the holy Nikki Winston.
The holy Nikki Winston.
The anointing is here.
Thanks for joining us.
The anointing is in the building.
Right.
Okay, Siobhan, let's get with this topic that you want to talk about.
Well, no, it's not that. So I was thinking of, like pivoting to, instead of the in-laws not liking you, what if it's, let's say me not liking any of Dre's family, right? Like that's also an issue. And I feel like some of the maybe principles are the same, but does that change the who don't like who? You know what I mean? So it's like his family is fine being around me. I'm not fine being around them. You know what I mean? So it's like it causes issues where when we go home from a family party, holiday, whatever, I'm like, I can't stand that so-and-so did this. And I can't stand that so-and-so did that. And this person said that to me.
Are you at home or are you visiting?
Am I at home or am I visiting?
If I'm visiting, I'm walking around in my drawers. If I'm at home and I don't like you there, I walk around with my drawers and toothbrush, blasting music. Like
So-
At some point, you gotta.
So I
know
think
yourself.
I
I
think
don't
there.
understand that. What are you saying?
I-
What do walking around in your underwear have to do with something?
I'm gonna make everybody real uncomfortable. No shirt,
Real.
just raw socks. I'm ashy, and I got my music blast.
So I think there's a couple dynamics to this, Shimon. I think the first is being honest.
Bro, I don't like your family. How do you say it? How do you do that though? Respectfully.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
You can hear me.
Easily,
I
Yeah.
think so. I think
you wanna
there's
know the
a.
easiest way out of it. Baby, I can't make it.
I think that it's a couple different dynamics to it, and I'm gonna be totally honest. I think on a woman's end, this happens a lot. First of all, you weren't honest when y'all were dating because you didn't like Auntie Susan then. Let's just be honest. And you pretended as if you did because you wanted to seem like the perfect woman to get married. And now that you're the wife, now you feel like, well, I'm gonna tell you, I ain't never like Auntie Susan really, when there were issues that you really should have addressed from the beginning. I think some of these issues come up before marriage even happens, and people don't
Damn, what you do?
address them.
I think
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
I mean, and because like, and I think for women sometimes it's like I don't want to say nothing because I don't want to cause an issue, but I can say it from my own experience. When you become a wife, you kind of like, well, I mean, I'm the wife now, so I mean, if you don't like me, you don't like me. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, I'm speaking from my own experience because at the end of the day, your family member made a vow to me. I am his wife. So out of your love and respect for him, the same way I respect you, out of my love for him, you should be able to do the same for me, is the way that I feel.
So you didn't marry the family, you married the person.
I married him, but his family comes along. And I never tried to do anything to put him in a bad position or make him uncomfortable. And that's why the whole situation really was upsetting to me, because I could tell that it was causing strain on my husband.
Okay, let me ask y'all this since we in the mode to ask questions.
Okay.
Are you listening? Or are you ignoring me as usual?
She having some technical difficulties.
Yeah.
She said take her out and bring her back in.
Because I can't hear you.
Hold on. Let me try to mute myself and then unmute. Can you hear Zena?
I can't hear. I know you guys can hear me, but I can't hear you.
Oh, she can't hear either one of them.
Then went off and it took away my
Can you hear now? I guess not. Can you hear now?
No, I still can't hear you.
Get out.
I don't know what's happening to her.
I don't know what's happening to her either. All right, so let me ask you a question. Let me try to add this hook one more time.
Just keep it going, bro.
You can't hear me, right?
Hold it down, Dre.
Yeah, you a hoodlum.
I can't hear you.
I know.
Hold on.
Get out of here, you hoodlum. Ain't no place for
Hold
you.
it down, bro.
I will. Don't worry about it.
Do you think some initially think the things they don't like about their spouse's family would be manageable, and then later realized it wasn't? In answer to that question, I think sometimes that does happen. I think sometimes you may not realize the intensity of it until you get into a marriage and you have to deal with things more consistently. So I think sometimes that can happen, but I think again, say something. If you don't say anything and you just walk around with the attitude, or every time your mate mentions like, oh, my family is doing this, and you like
I ain't going.
You know what I'm saying? Or you act like that, like it can make your mate feel a certain kind of way instead of trying to address it and try to move forward from it. But the key to that is that both people have to be willing to
gotta put the time in.
Move forward from it.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Everything's good now.
I was saying sweet things about you.
I know you were.
Everybody got.
But no, yeah, I think it comes down to. I think it's the fundamental question: like, are you marrying your family's family, or are you marrying that person? Because we always talk about that with kids, but we don't talk about it a lot with like cousins and uncles and parents. And I know there was a time I was dating someone, and I felt like everyone was kind of saying like, you're too good for this person, or you're better than this person. And I was like, no, we're just people. Like, and so, I think that a lot of that plays into it. Like, what are you telling your, if it was Siobhan's case, like, what are you telling Siobhan? Like, if
Right.
Siobhan's constantly hearing you too good for that person, this person doesn't deserve you, blah, blah, blah. Like, it starts to creep in their mind. And then as soon as y'all get in the argument, you're not even good enough for me, Trayvon. You know what I mean? Like that whole kind of,
Yeah.
that whole kind of thing. But yeah, I think it all, and then I think it comes down to like what type of person you are. Like, I'm good not going nowhere. I don't have to go to Michigan. Like, I'm fine. I'm okay. And then when the in-laws come over, you just go find something to do.
Right.
Oh yeah, I gotta go run some errands.
Yeah, but I think that becomes, you know what I'm saying, emotionally straining after a while on the primary relationship. You know what I'm saying? Like, because of course, any person, I want you to love my family too. And we like to say, like, I'm not marrying the family, but really you are, because, like, for instance, I'm an only child. Okay. So Lord forbid if something happens to my mom, you know what I'm saying, my grandma, like, we could end up caring for that person. And so therefore, at the end of the day, like, it affects my husband. Things that happen in my family affect him. So really, you are marrying your spouse's family too. You have to be careful the drama that you marry into, because it runs over into your relationship.
Absolutely.
And I think people kind of try to separate the two, but it really doesn't, though. You can't.
I agree with Grimes first. Let me say that. But let me ask y'all, I'm going to ask both of y'all a question. So do you honestly think, let's say, Zena, you meet Larry, right?
Uh-huh.
And you can't stand his family.
Right.
Would you still marry
him? Probably not.
Siobhan? I mean, cousins, uncles.
Like,
and and I'll tell you why, though.
Nobody I don't like?
Or let's say his parents, my parents. So they're gonna be around, they're gonna, come over and da 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 da. Like, would you honestly still marry the person? Because most people probably would.
So a big part of me is still leaning towards yes, but I feel like I know it's like a recipe for disaster, and that's where I ask myself, like, okay, if I don't like them, can I just keep it copacetic because I love him so much? Because I love you so much. Can I do that for the rest of my life? Zena's face says no.
Yeah.
She said no.
So my answer is no. Let me tell you why. Because one of the conversations that you should be having with someone when you're dating them is how important family is to them. Okay. So in dating Larry, family is important to him. First of all, his mother is very important to him. Okay. So therefore, hold on, Larry. So therefore, if I didn't like his mother, I know that me and him are not going to work out. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when you talk about, can I be, you know what I'm saying, just copacetic? Can I just, no, like, I refuse to be miserable, because then I'm going to take that out on him, because now I feel like I'm dealing with stuff that I don't have to deal with. And now we're having issues within our marriage.
No, y'all want to know what I told my wife, honestly?
What'd you say?
I told her my sister is my sister. I can get another wife.
Preach.
But I don't want one.
Preach. So
I'm going to need y'all to sit down and figure this out. Because I'm going to cut both of y'all asses off if y'all keep me through this.
And you know what I said?
What did you say?
I said, if that's the way that you feel and you're okay with your sister being disrespectful to me, then you can go back over there with your mama and your sister.
Who being disrespectful?
I'm saying when we were going through that situation and he was in the position to make a decision between me and his sister, I won't deal with constant disrespect. Then at the end of the day, 4 years later,
Peas in pie.
I'm just saying no, but like I just feel like I wouldn't deal with it though. Me personally.
Okay.
I wouldn't walk myself into that situation because I feel like you're then gonna have regret towards that person because every time his mama call you, gonna be like, she calling again. Like she like every time, like, and then he gonna be like, what's your problem?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? When all of this could have been avoided if you just be honest from the jump, like, you know what? Okay, I really like you. I think you're a great person. But if family is important to you and I don't really mess with your family, maybe this ain't gonna work.
Okay, now Siobhan, why would you do the opposite? Or has Zena swayed you?
No, she hasn't swayed me. I'm thinking of it, you know, like with us, if I didn't like your family or your parents, I don't know. I guess like I would still really give it a try because I love you. You know, like I'm willing to, you know, kind of go through it and muscle through it and potentially get to a point where we can have a conversation about why I have these issues or, you know, why, whatever, you know, like 1 second.
No, I'm just, go ahead. No, you good.
You just raising your hand.
Just
like I would, and it's hard because it's like I'm trying to make a decision off something I might do, and now I'm married. You know what I mean? So I'm trying to like put myself in a single position. Moreover, yes, I would still go through it before marriage. However, I would express to my spouse, my to-be spouse, that, you know, like, you know, I'm having some reservations and these are it. And I just have to lay it out plain. Not be disrespectful, but just say, you know, maybe it's a different way that we were raised, because that's a thing. Maybe it's you know, of you know, where I grew up and what my family dynamic is like, because it's true. My family dynamic is very different than Dre's. The way that we talk to each other, the way that we interact is different. And to me, that's normal.
mm-hmm.
To him, it was not. You know, my mom cussing at him at Thanksgiving, the very first time him meeting everybody, he didn't know that meant if she cussed at you a little bit, she liked you. He didn't know that. So like to us, it was normal. You know, like, so I would have to lay that out and just say, like, you know, these are issues that I'm having. And maybe it's because, you know, I come from A and you come from B, you know, but if it's more where I felt like it was disrespect, if I felt like it was malicious or whatever towards me, that's a conversation that I'm having with my spouse or spouse to be.
Your mom could cuss me out all
Shut
day.
up.
Okay.
If I feel like the dynamic between me and his family is deliberate, malicious, all those words, and my spouse does nothing, then it's probably like, okay, this probably won't work. But
Right.
then if Dre says like, okay, I understand your concerns, you know, let's start to make a plan to work through it, because we decided we want this to work.
Thank you, brother. Thank you. I'm glad that you understand. I feel you. Can I say one thing before you go? Just
what you talking about? Good Lord. What? Why don't you come on in? Get your opinion out.
I'm gonna send you an invite. I was gonna say, but I think it's important for you to communicate that with your spouse, not your friend, or not just your friend.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I was saying talking to
therapist, you. But I think it's important. But no, just to put it out there, I think it's important to like find a respectful way to kind of talk about your issue with your spouse's parent or whoever it is with your spouse. Go ahead, Zena, take it away. G, I'm about to send you an invite.
So my first thing is that I feel like the conversation, if there's an issue before marriage, then I think it should be had before marriage.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then if you can come to a resolution, then okay, you move forward. But if no resolution can be made, then that's when guys need to look at something else. Now I'm gonna ask Dre a question because I already know Larry's answer because we've had this conversation before. Dre, I want you to be 100% honest.
Okay.
If before you marry Shaman, if she came to you and told you, "Yeah, I don't really like your mama," would you have still married her?
No, can't do it.
Flat. Guys are very
Can't do it.
flat. Like,
bro, she pushed me out her vagina, bro.
Thank you, Lord Jesus. Hello. Sorry.
So for them, it's like, okay, if you say that, that's fine.
Bye.
But I would expect the same for like you and your dad. Like if me and Shaman's dad didn't get along and he was super active and super important, I would expect the same thing.
Bye.
I feel like guys go further.
That's your baby.
Get along with dad than girls do with mom. I just feel like almost every girl I know has wound up not liking the mother at some point. The whole, would you explain to me, the queen bee?
Yeah, so I think what happens sometimes, and it happens on both ends, is that sometimes mothers have a difficult time with letting their little boys go from their little boy to a grown man who's a husband.
Not really.
And so I think that's what sometimes causes the issues with the mother-in-law and the daughter, is that she's wanting him to play the husband role, the wife is, but the mother is still like, but that's my baby, and you know what I'm saying, I'm gonna do this. Okay, but you also need to allow him to be a husband, and I think that's where issues come in, unfortunately.
But I feel like dads are tougher with their daughters.
Not my mama.
And guys, we just kind of,
My mama.
you know, I just think guys, since we talking about open your eyes and stuff like that, I think guys are more.
What's up, y'all?
What's up, sir? I think guys are in general more. I don't know what the word is, patient or more understanding or more, especially if you're a guy with daughters. Like you kind of know, like, oh, he don't like me the second he meet me. Then I think guys are more. I think guys work towards a relationship or building common ground necessarily. I don't think a woman goes out her way. Like we get along great. If we don't, whatever, we got to be around each other. We'll have a respect, which is black people's way of saying, I don't like you, but I ain't going to say nothing at the barbecue. Kind of thing where like when guys say respect, guys typically mean like, I respect.
That's how you feel, bro?
Yeah, that's bro. Come on, that's what black people mean when we say like.
No, I mean, bro, in the back, like that's how you feel.
That's funny.
What you think, Grimes?
I didn't catch the whole thing because I was trying to get on DuckDuckGo. It wouldn't let me, so I had to use the Samsung internet. So you basically still talking about the feelings about your spouse's family.
Yeah.
All right, so it's like I and I know I typed this earlier. It's like I'm not. It's like I'm married to the spouse. I'm not married yet, but this is my perspective. I'm not married to the spouse. I'm sorry. I'm married to the spouse, but not the family. Like, and I know that there's, and I know sis earlier gave her view on that. I get it, but like I said earlier in the chat, like if you got a troublesome cousin that can't stay out of trouble and expect us to bail them out every time, my commitment is to my wife and the household first. I can't, risk my, whatever I got going on to keep bailing somebody out of their stuff all the time, And if there's always some type of drama or whatever that could, get me down the path of other negative folk or whatever, that's not conducive to me in my household. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I can love you, I can do for you, I can go out my way for you, but like my wife, my household comes first.
Okay.
Right. And that's very true. that your mate does come first. But I think in marriage, you have to understand that, with that, the things that are affecting your mate with technically what we are saying is their family is going to affect your marriage.
Mhm.
So when they go out and if, there's issues with their siblings that the family's calling them and stressing them out and, all these things are happening, essentially that could end up affecting your relationship because that person comes home and they have those burdens on them because they're worried about what's going on with their family. So no, we ain't gotta, you know what I'm saying? I'm not putting my money necessarily up to bail Ray Ray out. You know what I'm saying? But now she's worried because, this is a serious case for Ray Ray. He can get real time. And so she's stressed out and she crying. And so now you as a husband have to step up and, play a different role with her. So that's what I mean when I say like their family, it affects your relationship. And I think that's what people need to realize is that you want to separate the two because you like, this is us.
Yeah.
But essentially, you know what I'm saying? In some circumstances, that's a very, very hard thing to do.
Mhm.
Just like kids, them your kids. Them ain't.
Yeah.
I think you just got to. A good thing to do is you have to. So I made a conscious decision that like, ain't no your family and my family. Like when we get married, we all family.
We all family.
And so I think that's important because it puts you in a mental. One, it puts you in the mental space of like, Siobhan's aunties and my aunties. I don't go when I go see them at the family reunion. I'm not, hey, Siobhan's auntie. I'm like, hey, auntie, what's up?
Right.
No, what can I do? Can I, whatever, I can do. So I think that mentality and thought process is definitely important because if it comes to like, this is your family and this is my family, it's kind of like you date a woman who's got a kid. And, I feel like as a culture, we all expect like, you can't be honest with a woman and be like, I'm marrying you. I'm not marrying your 13-year-old kid or your 6-year-old kid or however old he is. So his issues, I'm gonna let you and the baby daddy take care of that.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like it don't work like that. Like you can't go. Most women with respect gonna be like, okay, bye. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of the expectation of like, my child is not our child, and how my child feels about you plays a role in our relationship. And I think, again, case by case may be different, and it may depend on like your relationship. Like Siobhan and her family have a total different vibe than me and my family, but it's all love though, and you got to understand that. And I think for me, once I understood that, like, oh, they get along better the more apart they are, or whatever. Well, my family's kind of like, I ain't talked to you in 2 days. What's going on? Like, are you okay? It doesn't mean that they don't love each other. It's just different, because of different circumstances. And so I think a good way to approach it may be, at least from my experience, is like, this is our family. Your cousin is not my cousin. And understand that going into, and honestly taking that into account before you jump up. Because we marry people and then all these situations pop up and we act like we never knew about this and we never seen this. And, when the truth is like,
nigga was crazy.
Dude always been bad with money, or she always, had the hot dog order. Like you knew this already, bro. Going into marriage, like you knew this already. Like you thought it was gonna turn into potpourri. It's not, bro. Hot dog water before and after. You got married, and some of us, that's another show for another day. But
I think fortunately, but unfortunately, bro, the good comes with the bad. So it's great when we at the barbecue and everybody good, you know what I'm saying? We having a good time laughing and talking, but it's also when the bad, you know what I'm saying? When there's a death and people starting to act crazy and you know what I'm saying? They stressing out or this person going to like, you got to take it all. You can't pick and choose like you said, because that's your family now too. So you like, oh, okay. You know what I'm saying? We got to figure this out, and you don't want to take on the responsibility. And like you said, when you look at, well, that's not how my family interact. You know what I'm saying? You have to be understanding that, okay, their dynamics are different. Okay. You know what I'm saying? I respect that. I may not understand it all the time, but I respect that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember asking Vonda, she wanted to move back to Michigan to like, I think it was like around I don't know, 10 years or something like that, or 5 or something. I was like, yeah, you spent 5 years here. You moved here. You went to college here. Like, do you want to go back? No, not really. I was like, okay. You
Whatever.
know what I mean? So what do you think, babe? What's your she's so
So
stressed.
much.
She's so stressed.
It's so much. It's like where do I jump in? What I've been thinking about is, I think I agree for the most part what everybody said. I agree. And I think that y'all have said it so wonderfully and eloquently. It was really wonderful. But I'm thinking about, like, because we keep saying these are conversations that we should have had beforehand. This is stuff that you need to establish and whatever beforehand. But let's say, you a couple years in,
Okay.
and maybe you thought the things that wouldn't bother you as much, it's like, they different. Like, they're different. It's not bad. It's just different, right? Like, his family dynamic is different.
Mhm.
You realize, no, that's bothersome. Or it's bothersome to the point where it's starting to affect me and my husband, right? But maybe the husband or the wife doesn't see it that way. And so my question is, if we're already married, right?
Mhm.
And it feels like a surprise because maybe things have escalated since we got married, whatever happened. But now we're married. How do we approach that? Is it the same way? Is it having, an honest but gentle conversation saying, like, these things are really bothersome to me because of XYZ, and you never put your mate in a position where they feel like they have to choose. But are there situations where they feel like they have to choose? Like, are there situations like that? I feel like that was 3 questions. But let's start with, you're already married. How do we, because we're about solutions here on Rated M. And I know none of y'all perfect people out there in Holy Land have these issues, because everybody's family gets along great and nobody has any issues. But just in case there's somebody watching in the future, if you're already married, how do you handle these issues of, like Zena said, like, why his mama call all the time, or why her brother keep calling, like, why this person keep reaching out? You know what I mean? Like, can maybe the way that he supported some family members before he was married,
Women gotta
does
stop
that
tripping.
continue?
Women
I'm
gotta
just,
stop tripping.
I'm
gonna tell you.
asking
I'm
questions.
giving you. I'm about to give you.
Give
This
it to me.
is a woman problem. Okay. Why are you still sending money to such and such? Why you still? Because I've been sending money since I was 12. I think you have to respect the other person's dynamic and know that going into the situation that, like,
Okay, but we're already married.
right, but it's not like, because I feel like most of the time with women is respectfully, it's petty stuff.
I still remember when y'all asked checked me about my mama having
So like, if you
What
got,
happened?
let's say I send, let's use this example. Let's say I send my sister, which I don't have a sister, but a blood sister, $100 every 2 weeks. When I get paid, she get paid. And then a woman come along and think that's gonna change because we married in a relationship. No, that's something you just gotta understand before we get into it. Like, men don't change. We the same way. I don't care what you say. Men don't change. Am I right, Grimes? Am I right, brother? Grimes ain't gonna change. He gonna be the same person that he is today. He gonna be that way when he get married. Larry didn't change. Okay, Larry the same OG that he was
Thank you.
before. See, I'm getting better.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say nigga. I'm not gonna say that. I'm not gonna say. I'm not gonna use that word.
Because we're in a new place.
We are. We're in a new place.
We're in a new place.
I love you, YouTube. Don't not demonetize this.
That's right.
But yeah, I think men don't change, and for the most part, it's like, it seems to me that women have these issues of, like, everything is about the household, and it's like, nah, it's not. Like, most of my attention goes to this household, but, like, not. I don't feel like 1,000% is gonna, blah 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 blah. I just don't feel like men have those issues. Go ahead, Zena. Let me have it.
So I feel like, and you're not gonna agree with this, but I'm gonna say it. I feel like the reason why women have more of the issue than men do is because many times when it comes to transitioning into that wife role, women are a lot better with saying, I'm his wife, and knowing things that they can and cannot do. Okay. I think if you send $100 to your sister out of each check, okay, but is this affecting our household? Okay. And I think that that's something that men need to be mindful of, that your role is not to be a husband to your sister. You're her brother.
Okay.
There's a difference.
Okay.
There is a difference.
I can't do both.
You can't be her husband and her brother. No, you cannot.
No, I'm saying I can't send her $100 and be your husband.
I mean, I think at one point is it dependency. I think that sometimes what happens in a lot of Black households, I don't know if it happens in other households, but in a lot of Black households, the young men take on the role of the man of the house at a very young age. Okay. And when they grow up in a house full of women, sometimes what happens is the women in the house become dependent on him. And so then when he finds a woman and he branches off, they can't break that tie from him being their provider, their supporter, their this and that, when really he's supposed to be doing those things for his wife. You can't please two different households.
Yes,
you're not going to be able to.
Yes,
obviously somebody is always going to lack if the wife is having issues. Obviously she wouldn't even notice the $100 as much if there wasn't a lack.
Oh, she would. Y'all wouldn't be paying attention, especially.
So what I'm saying is you have to be very, very careful, because what happens is that is why you have these sisters who feel like they have so much to say, is because that's their man too. And that's how they look at it. Some of these mothers feel like that's their man too.
Facts.
And really, that's your brother. That's your son.
What they call it? Son, husband?
Yes.
Brother, husband?
So,
but see, she does have a point on that, because
hold on, Larry. He's saying something. Hold on. Go ahead.
Okay. So
Go ahead.
I briefly went through that with because a few years ago I was staying with my cousin / sister. She didn't have no actual siblings, so me and cousins became her siblings. So I was staying with her for a little bit, and I was seeing some girl, and it was hell, because I had to deal with me. Of course, if I'm staying with somebody, I'm paying rent or whatever, or I'm handling something, whatever the agreement is, right? So, but the thing was, the girl I was with, there was this thing where they hated they didn't even meet each other, but they hated each other. But it was like, there was that expectation of me taking care of stuff at the crib, but then it was also, of course, doing for the girls. So that, and one, actually both of them, like I said, they never met, but they hated each other. But it was like, oh, she's using you. Oh, she's using you. Like, and they saying the same stuff, but, but of course, when you're dealing with somebody that you seeing, that's supposed to, come first. But when there's that expectation of you coming through for family, that's going to cause a huge conflict. And it's like, even though there should be understanding, but there's not going to be understanding if the one that you're dealing with or your relative or both are selfish. So.
Okay, so I got a question. Why are women so selfish? Why do wives have to become so territorial? Ain't no man on here said one time, I'm her husband. Somebody, I ain't gonna say no names, has said, I'm his wife over 100 times already. Why are y'all so territorial once y'all get married? Dudes don't do that. Well, dudes with nuts don't do that.
Because I take pride in my role.
No, that's cool. You can take pride, but it almost seems like once we get married, I gotta stop everything I'm doing and just focus on the household. This is why people don't want to get married and why dudes cheat.
So I don't think.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Wait 2 minutes.
Why are you saying it like that? Like, once I get married, I gotta stop doing what I'm doing and focus on the household. It's like, yeah, that's part of getting married.
No, that's not. No, it's not. Did I ask you to stop?
I'm just saying, if I gotta let go of mine, you gotta let go of
Did I ask you? That's all I'm saying. I guess I don't know. Maybe that's the difference between. And if you're watching this, feel free to leave your comment in the comments. Yeah, but I just feel like women, it's always territorial. Like you got to mark your territory, even from family. And it's like it ain't no need to do that. A little $100. Not to see if you was giving half your check. Okay, that may be a problem. But like $100, that's not even really your business. Like it's now. If I got a job where I'm making $200, first of all, I don't need to be working there. And then second of all, that's more understandable. But I just feel like as men, like if I know that you're doing that to take care of your father, uncle, whoever, I'm not gonna say that. I'm just gonna go get the $100 from somewhere else. Or just be like, okay, she make this much and we won't count for $100 and it's over with. And then you plan around that. Like, ain't no dude making no stand. Like, you got to stop doing that. And you got at least not, maybe the creamy peanut butter dudes who make muffins. But, like, ain't no real dude going to be like, you got to stop giving that $100. Like, the dude is going to be like, all right, instead of $1,300, we got $1,400. Instead of $2,500, we got $2,400 every 2 weeks. We got to make it do with that. But it seems like it's very territorial. Like, I'm his wife. I get all his attention now. I know you raised that young man for so long, but it's a new day. It's like, no, it's not. No, it's nothing's changed about the day. It's still Wednesday. Like, nothing has changed. And I feel like it's this expectation that, like, everything in our life has to change.
Because when people get in a relationship, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
I was just like, when people get in a relationship and they see stuff that's bothersome about the other person or whatever, they think that eventually it's gonna change, it's gonna stop. And when we get married, and they're gonna understand commitment and compromise, and they're gonna let that stuff go, and then it never happens.
No, so are y'all taught that like once you get married, like the man's his whole world is supposed to end and like just revolve around.
So I think you're being overly dramatic with the.
I'm not being overly dramatic. Y'all just said
I definitely think you are. I don't think it's never. If first of all, if you're dealing with a woman who's just like bump your mama, even though she brought you into this world, like it's all about me.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. Okay, let's just say that out there to the world. Like that is a major problem. Because I would never want my husband to not have a relationship with his mother. So
you'd be cool with Larry giving his mama $300 every time you get paid. You wouldn't have no problem with
that. As long as my bills didn't lack.
Okay, all right.
As long as my bill now, if we get some shut off notices or you know what I'm saying, money is tight over here and this and that, and you giving money to a whole nother house. And I think here's the other thing about it too. Not trying to be funny. Not trying to be funny. Giving $300 to your mama and giving $300 to your sister sit different with my spirit. I'm just gonna be
payroll.
Same household.
I'm be honest with you. Like it would sit
another day.
It sit different with me.
Because it feels like, I think when it comes to like Hazina said, your sister, like that to me, I'm not gonna speak for nobody else, but to me that sounds like taking care of another grown person. Taking care of somebody else who is capable of taking care of themselves.
Correct.
That's a problem.
So you want him to push her to some nigga to try to take care of her?
She probably already with a bum nigga who ain't taking care of her, and you paying the expenses.
That's different.
Come closer to the mic. Come closer. But no, I'm saying like your mom, like she said, like I agree with that. Your mom and like your sister, your cousin, or whatever is different. Like, because those relationship dynamics are different.
Correct.
But like, honestly, how comfortable would you be if I was supporting another dude, giving him $3, $4, how many ever $100?
Violation.
You know me. I don't handcuff. I don't arrest. I don't.
Okay, and Dre, that's cool. But the average guy, if you be like, yeah, babe, I gotta take $300 a month at our household to send, my brother Devontae some money every month.
Another
you like, what's wrong with Devontae? Like, why Devontae can't work? What's wrong with him? Like,
another grown person who's probably capable.
And hold on, how long are we doing this?
I'm gonna be like you?
Ask Greg. He
Why
man.
that nigga can't get no job?
I agree.
And I think that's the biggest thing. Is
That ain't
like,
what Larry meant to say. That
Are
ain't what
you?
he meant to say.
That is what Larry meant to
That
say.
ain't what he
But
meant
it's
to
like, are you?
That's what she
If we're
do to
talking
me.
about this specific
Why that nigga
issue,
can't get a job?
are you talking about
Right.
somebody who can support themselves, but they're choosing not to because they're dependent on you? Or are you talking about somebody who for a time or whatever that time might be, couple months, couple years, like they honestly trying to get on their feet. They trying to
Well,
put
I
one
think
foot in
that's
front of
true.
the
I think
other,
that's true. Or
and
what if
you're
they can't
helping
make the
them.
money?
It's like,
What if
okay,
they
us
can't?
as a unit, we're helping them because they're
Right.
family.
So
But
what if
we're
your
not
mama?
gonna let them take advantage of us, and they got new Jordans and new iPhones, and
What they
and
do
they
with their
don't
money
work.
is what they do. But what I'm saying is, what if, okay, let's say your mama fall out one of her piles of money and break her back, because that's how high the pile is. All right. And then now all of a sudden she needs to be taken care of. I'm not gonna hesitate. And we don't even need to have the conversation. Yes, she can move in. Yes, if I need to get another job to take care of her, I would do that. Yes, blah blah blah. It ain't even no conversation. Or if it was, I don't know, Larry or Zena or what's my man? Dre. It's fine. I'm not gonna handcuff and be like, no, I am your husband. You're gonna not take money out of this household. You're gonna pay me.
But
And
I
blah, blah, blah.
think like Siobhan said, like when we're talking about an able-bodied person, if you're
Able-bodied.
saying, hey, this person fell down on hard times, you know what I'm saying? Like I've committed to doing this, because essentially no matter if it's something, if it's play money or whatever it is, it's taking money from the household. If you say, hey, I'm gonna help them out, for a few months. I'm gonna help them out for a few months while they get on their feet. Okay, fine. But 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and you still sending this money to this person, like, now hold on. Like, we don't live in America and they live in a, you know what I'm saying, impoverished country, and you sending money back. Like, that's not what's going on.
Greg, say something. Greg, say something. Enlighten them, brother. Come on. I know Greg gonna have our
Right,
back.
because here's the thing, like, right, like if you talked about able bodies, like you talk about somebody that you know for a fact just need to get up off their behind and do something, then work or try harder, apply themselves. That's different. But if like mama needs something extra for medication or whatever,
That's
something
not
not
an
being
issue.
covered.
If my mama want to go to
That's not an
Vegas,
issue.
what if my mama just
What?
want to go to Vegas? Why I can't spend $100?
What if she just want to what?
I don't have a problem with that. I
If
talked
you
to
just
my
wanna go to
husband
Vegas.
about sending my mother-in-law out of town. I don't have. We're talking about the
That's
mama.
not an issue.
The mama is not the issue usually
So
for
we talking
me.
about like a sister or a cousin.
Yes.
Okay,
like
my
sister,
man wants some
cousin.
Jordans.
No. Like, if you get it yourself, like find a way, I'm not your daddy. Like,
No,
I'm not your daddy. I can help. No, I can help you for a little bit.
man.
But if I see that you got something going on where you just trying to get extra or whatever, or trying to do something that's not productive, that's totally counterproductive to you building stuff up for yourself and getting yourself back on your feet. Nah, I'm not finna enable.
Facts.
I'm an enabler. I'm not finna do that.
Dre, come back.
Where did Dre go?
Dre, come back.
Because initially, because what he was saying earlier, like I get it, because it's like, yeah, man, like if we had like, we like to keep things simple, and if we have something going on a certain way, a certain little system, we not always organized, but like like to perfectly, but like if we have a certain system of things going on, we're not trying to change. We're not trying to change that. We need somebody to, and that's like kind of like why we need to help me. Like, what can you add to what I'm doing, or how can you help make things easier, or whatever? That's kind of the expectation. But like, if you just trying to get over, then nah, I'm not finna. And I know you trying to get over. Nah, I'm not finna feed into that.
Good. I guess y'all agree with that, huh?
What?
Amen.
I don't have a problem with helping somebody. Somebody can come stay with me if they need somewhere to stay. Dre, don't you say
really?
nothing.
Okay.
They can go
Let me make a quick text real quick. Hold on.
No.
But here's my thing. Like, so we've had people around us who needed a roof over their head. Okay. But my thing is, what's the plan? Like, okay, you need to be filling out job applications every day. You know what I'm saying? I can help you with your resume. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can help you, but you have to have a goal. The goal can't be just to sit in the basement, you know what I'm saying, and hang out all day because it's free to stay here. You need a plan.
Right.
I don't mind helping nobody that's in need. But you have to have a plan. Like the long-term goal can't be, well, this is easy right here. So I mean, they do what they do, and I just stay here, eat up all the snacks. Like, no, that's no.
Everybody needs.
I'm gonna say this, and it's like, and I say this, and this is how you know you're dealing with somebody that's manipulating, trying to get over it, somebody being controlling. What's meant to, when I say this, it pisses them off. What's meant to be a favor should not be meant to be an expectation. If they
Correct.
have a problem with that, then you know what you're dealing with.
Ooh.
Yep. Yep.
Say it again.
I
for
agree.
People in the back. Say it again.
I agree.
What's meant to be a favor should not be made an expectation.
Racism.
Amen. Amen. We need to pass the
Because if
offering
this is
on
meant
that.
to be a favor for you at a time of need, and you didn't get comfortable, and I've been guilty of getting comfortable, and that's something that everybody needs to make sure that they're not, allowing themselves to do. You can't become comfortable in any situation, sometimes it can be a job, it can be staying in somebody's house or whatever. You need to, continue to, build, for your life,
Yep. I agree.
Siobhan, what do you have to say since you the cause of this mess?
The mic has been dropped.
This is sad.
I have said.
I'm sorry, y'all. I tried. I'm sorry.
A favor should not be an expectation. That's all I'm gonna say. That's the word.
And I
What's meant to be a
think.
So
I think
guys,
that's it.
this is what I want you to get out of this. Marriage is slavery, okay? Your
That's
life.
Here we go.
You can't help your sister. You can't help
Thank you,
your
dog.
cousin.
Not
You
true.
can't help your mama. Just
That
know
is not
going in.
true.
Just
That is
know
not
going in. Your
When you
life is
get
as
married, you're married her and
That's
her.
what you say they call it a ball and chain for a reason, huh?
Exactly.
Listen,
You can
but
accept the
Listen,
I mean,
church slave.
don't feed into this.
That's
You can
worse.
accept the church slave. Your life would be much better.
so I mean, I didn't know that help was supposed to be a long-term thing. I thought it was supposed to be temporary.
It might not even be help. My mama and my sister may want to go to Vegas and play the slots. And
We can send your mama all day long.
Check this out.
And I've
We
been
can even send your sister for her birthday if that's her birthday gift to her.
Family is for lifetime, right? It's
exactly.
like marriage, right?
I'm just
Exactly.
saying. Yeah.
Well,
For lifetime, right? So
thing is how we're here about solutions. Slight off topic rants, on topic but off topic rants. We're here. We're here about solutions at Rated M. If the other coast would come back,
He left again?
he'll be back. He's
Eventually.
back, I'm sure. I thought he was coming back. But
What is that?
I don't know. But we're here about solutions. So I think one thing that we know is it takes.
What are you laughing?
Before you get married, this is your life from now on. Well, go ahead, keep talking. Keep talking. I'm just gonna run this little commercial. I'm gonna hold this up.
It's all about honest conversations. It's the same. It's the kind of the same thing that we say every show, no matter what we're talking about. It's having honest conversations with your spouse about what's going on and how to fix it.
Yes.
It shouldn't be a position where somebody feels like, they're, it's them against me, because it's not like that. When it comes to family dynamics, if you're having issues in family dynamics, maybe you need to talk it out. Maybe we need to have a brunch and just lay it out and agree to disagree. And we all stop it. We all make a concerted effort to have a blissful family, right? Because if I don't get along with Dre's family, the only person who hurts in that the most is Dre.
Right.
And if that's the person that I say I love and the person I committed to, I can't directly or indirectly hurt him.
Correct.
And vice versa. So if you love your spouse, you do the things that it takes to make it work. It has nothing to do with creamy peanut butter.
You said that's the life before marriage? That one right there? bro.
Oh no, that's no. Oh, you crunchy before marriage. You know, if
I,
you're a
thought-
real
I,
man.
thought- I know I was gonna be my question. I'm like, okay, so if it's creamy before, if it's
Uh-uh,
full
don't
before marriage,
don't
No,
feed
it's
him.
it's
I
creamy
don't
after.
even feel like
It's creamy
we
after.
really need to address this.
Don't feed it to him.
We don't. I don't even feel like
Uh-uh.
we
Just
need
put
to.
them in a
Honey, are
box
there?
and hand them over.
Are
No,
there?
Shamaya, can I say something real quick in
Yes.
regards to what you said?
Yes.
And on top of that, I think even if you don't agree, like if your mate brings an issue to you that you don't understand or that you don't agree with, I think making sure that we're not being condescending or aggressive in the way in which we respond to that person, and respecting, like, I don't understand it, you know what I'm saying? But okay, this is the way that you feel, so let's find solutions for how you feel. Instead of just kind of downplaying it, like, well, you're over exaggerating or you
Yeah.
tripping or whatever. I think that makes the situation worse.
Yeah.
And nip it in the bud early. Don't hold on to it. And now you've been mad at his mom or his sisters or whoever for years. And now you just walk around with a stank attitude all the time.
Honey, do you have any closing remarks
Good
that
night.
don't have to do with creamy peanut butter?
Yeah, because I can't.
No, I have nothing to say. I said my final comment. Your life is over. Congratulations.
That's
Your
not
life is
true.
just beginning. Marriage is
Listen to the slave. Listen to the slave master. Go ahead. We all need cotton. You know, you're not a slave. You're more like a free laborer. Yeah, go ahead, listen to them, fellas.
bro.
It's the truth.
Zena Grinds, thank you so much for joining us.
No
And
problem.
Larry,
Thank you
and
for
Larry,
having me.
and Larry,
And Larry, I'm
And Larry.
Thank you, my brother.
I'm so sorry. And
Shout out to
Larry.
Larry, bro.
Exactly.
You know he is not gonna let you leave his brother out.
We
Not the
want
background.
to thank the entire Chia Wallace household.
Shout out to Nikki. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to her for joining in.
Yes, thank you guys in the comments. Thank you guys for joining.
Thank you, Zena.
I think that this was a great topic.
Absolutely.
And I think that we got some real good solutions out of it and exposed some things.
Yeah.
So we will be back here in our new place on YouTube next Monday for Marriage Mondays. We'll be broadcasting live every Monday night from now on
I don't know if
YouTube.
I'm here every week, y'all. I'm just doing YouTube. Wow.
But thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Like we said before, check out our website, theratedm.com, and that's where you can get your signature tees or hoodie. And then also check out our After Dark section as Valentine's Day is coming up.
Oh, yes.
Just saying.
Oh boy.
He is swinging.
I'm just
I ain't
saying.
coming on.
Fellas, you got to get yours, okay? There's only one thing we're supposed to get out of marriage. That's all we got. So you get yours, brother.
Oh Lord.
You invest.
Anyway, thank you guys very much. Those that are here on the screen and out in internet land. Thank you so much.
Yes, please.
And we will see you
subscribe.
next time.
Subscribe.
Subscribe to our channel. Thank
Even though
you.
this is foolishness, still subscribe. We like